Prime Minister Narendra Modi turns 75, and as he reaches a historic milestone of his life, how do people who have worked closely with him assess his leadership and his journey? Joining us is Union Minister Hardeep Puri. Mr. Puri, as a diplomat and also as a cabinet colleague of Prime Minister Modi, you have worked in different roles, seen him at different stages of his life while you were performing different duties. How has it been? I mean, what makes you think that Prime Minister Modi's leadership is a standout?
Maria, it's been a very privileged association as far as I'm concerned. And my interaction with the Honorable Prime Minister go back to an era even before he became Chief Minister of Gujarat. So I've had the privilege of knowing him when I was a civil servant, when I later was invited by him to join the Council of Ministers, and I've been there for 8 years. All I can say is that if I had to sum up the nature of that privileged association, I would say, one, he's inspirational, and I mean every nuance of that term inspirational. He is far-sighted, very committed, dedicated, and has a crystal clear vision of the country and the direction in which he wants to take the country. So when you got this Viksit Bharat assertion, it was not a roadmap only. It was a statement which could be made because he had a degree of confidence. I mean, if India had not been on the trajectory following 2014, if we had talked about being Viksit Bharat by 2047, if we had been in the policy paralysis era of the past, it would have sounded hollow. Now what happened with 2047? Everybody accepted it. Today it's an article of faith. Well, there will be some, Chakravarti class intellectual economists will say, "Arey bhai, yaar, 7.8% to theek hai, पिछले quarter ka, but if you don't grow at 8 to 9%, you'll be in the middle income." Forget about all that. No two situations are similar. The fact that he has been able to inject this degree of confidence and a roadmap anchored in that confidence is because he has shown progress. Where were you in 2014? $2 trillion economy, you're $4.3 trillion now, and you're moving to a $6, $7, $10 trillion economy in the short term, and 2047 is 22 years away. I'm so much before that. A Viksit Bharat definitionally does not have a GDP size attached to it. We expect the GDP to be, according to international consulting firms, to be at a particular level. But the per capita will go up, and the life of an average Indian, that is where the transformation is coming. It's already come. And I'm not just talking about feeding 800 million people 3 meals of dry ration in a day, providing Ujjwala cylinders for 500 rupees, or for Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana 4 crores, another 3 crore coming. Those are not only empirically verifiable statistics, those are facts of life. But the path going from here forward, you're growing, let's say between 6.5% and 7% already. The countries against which we are competing, again I don't like the word against whom we are competing, country with which you are being compared are growing between 0 and 2%. Do you see that complete churning and confidence change which is coming into the country? And you owe it to this man not because he's the Prime Minister of India. We've had Prime Ministers in the past, they've all been very eminent and statesmen in their own right. But this is a very different kind of leader who, if you talk about hard work, many of us are also, we think we are working hard, but his is total commitment. And there are no attachments. Plus, it's not governance. Maria, I want to make a point. This is governance ensconced in ethics.
Okay.
That is to me the most important. He doesn't even, you can claim to have proximity to him, but if you're out, if you're out of the line in terms of the ethics of it, zero tolerance.
As urban development minister then, you also you worked very closely along with the Prime Minister in the redevelopment of the Kartavya Path, the new Parliament building. These are part of the new India idea of the Prime Minister. How has that project been? What did he tell you when he said that this is how I envision it?
First of all, he didn't tell me anything. One day, I was inducted into the Council of Ministers on 3rd September 2017. A couple of days later, a huge manila brown envelope with huge plans arrived on my table. Nothing, it just said from PMO. I mean, who was the PS to PM. He gave me a call, aapko ek kuch kagaz bhej rahe hain. I opened it. After half an hour of going through those papers, I knew what was up. This was 2017. He had become Prime Minister in May 2014. I mean, he must have had a few other things on his mind also, but sometime between 2014 and 2017, he had started applying his mind on how the governance architecture of India's capital should look like. And what was the starting point with him? He got the layouts, the aerial photographs of all the major capitals in the world, the ones that should be looked at. Washington, DC, other developed countries, some developing countries, there were several of them. And somebody had done their work on it. Somebody had done their work on it because it arrived on my table, as I said, not as somebody who initiated the work, but who got on his table the work which somebody else has done and somebody's thought process had gone. This is one example. One day, when we were building the new parliament, it wasn't easy, Maria. I don't like to talk about these things. But one evening, around 7:15, the then secretary in my ministry gave me a call and he said, ki urti khabar mili hai. Now, in my profession, I'm in politics now, you get 1500 urti khabar in a day. And if you developed a filtering mechanism, then you know which urti khabar. He said, I said, bataiye. He said, वो ऐसे कुछ SPG के लोग पार्लियामेंट बिल्डिंग जो अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन है उसमें कुछ देखने आ रहे हैं. Now, his उड़ती खबर was SPG के लोग. My mind was already working overtime. I said, ये चेक करना PM साहब कितने बजे लैंड कर रहे हैं. He was on a trip, overseas trip, was coming back after a 15-hour flight from the US, if I remember correctly.
So it was a sudden.
So सुनिए सुनते जाइए. He said PM साहब कुछ लैंड करेंगे कुछ अभी थोड़ी देर में. तो मैंने कहा कि फिर
sudden inspection.
सुनिए, तो मैंने कहा आपका क्या इरादा, अगर आपकी वो हो तो मैं पहुंचता हूं. मैंने कहा दुर्गा शंकर मिश्रा, आई सर आपको कहीं जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. आपको जहां से भी उड़ती खबर आई है, आप ये देख लेना कि कौन आ रहा है. कुछ नहीं हमें पता, बट ये हो सकता है कि what I'm thinking, I didn't even want to say it on the phone. So then they called the project in charge.